Scholastic Audio presents Piggy, Infected, an original novel by Terrance Crawford and Dan Widdowson, read by Fred Berman. Krish! The signal from the walkie-talkie turned staticky, and Ben tucked the device back into Doggy's backpack. He helped Sally to her feet, the infected trapped in the conference room having already fallen asleep once again. The carnival. Ben had lived in Lucella long enough to know of it, but more importantly, for the first time in weeks, he knew what he was doing, where he was going. Renewed vigor coursed through his body, causing him to feel hopeful for the first time in a very long time. After he took Sally to her friend, the man would be so grateful, he would be happy to loan his resources. Ben could look for Ollie for weeks, and he felt as though he already had, and not turn up as much as he could with a helicopter and a few other survivors. Ben couldn't be sure, but he had to imagine that this mysterious benefactor was the only person on the island with a helicopter. When he next went looking for his best friend, it would be with a search party. Together, Ben and Sally walked down the street, into the night. The fog had rolled in once more, as it seemed to every night, blanketing the city in that same thin layer of mist. The moon shone through the trees, casting a series of eerie shadows on the ground. The wind howled as it blew, chilling the air around them. To the walkie-talkie man's credit, he had been right. The metro station was just across the street from the school. The two new friends hurried down the steps, Sally hopping effortlessly over the entrance turnstile while Ben slid underneath. The station was huge, an expanse of underground tunnels, a waiting area, several offices, a large cargo room, and an underground storage facility. None of that interested Ben. The train itself sat in the station, its next destination flashing on the overhead boards, but it seemed like this train hadn't moved of its own accord in a while. "Looks like our ride is here," Ben said sarcastically. "Let's have a look inside." Sally crouched down and offered her palms to Ben, giving him a boost, and he wiggled through the train window, falling inside the train. Ben used to take the train to school all the time. Now the train was hopefully going to take him far away from the school. The irony of it all was not lost on Ben. He didn't have to force his way into the conductor's car. It seemed like the power was still running to the train, which meant it couldn't have been out of order for long. It might even mean that the train still worked. In the conductor's car, Ben saw an open panel, an exposed series of differently shaped gears. He was no engineer, but with the wrench from the conductor's toolbox, he figured he could easily get the train started again. Ben walked back to the passenger area of the train, relaying his plan to Sally. "Sally, I think we can get this thing up and running again." She wasn't listening. Her eyes were focused on something in the distance. Ben continued. "Yeah, there's some loose gears in the front car, but if we tighten those up, I think we'll have this thing on the move in no time." Ben would never admit it to Sally or himself, but he was proud of himself. Not just for his plan to fix the train, but he had been through the ringer the last few weeks, and not only had he survived, he had come out of it with some new skills. "Sally? Sally?" Ben peered out of the train again, and that's when he saw them. The red orbs bouncing in the distance could only mean one thing: more of the infected. 1 pair. 2 pairs. 4. 6. Ben quickly lost count as the infected lumbered forward, the cool air blowing in from the outside replaced with the smell of an open old refrigerator. Ben had never seen this many in one place. He flashed back to the fear he felt outside the Lucella Gallery when he had come face to face with less than a half dozen. It seemed like every infected in the city was down here and lumbering toward Sally. He went to open the door of the train for her, but what good would that do them? Packed into a tiny tube underground with nowhere to go, they might as well throw themselves on a buffet line for the infected. Their horrendous grunting reached a crescendo, a chorus of terrifying grunts as Ben raced back to the conductor's car. His fingers waggled nervously as he threw open the toolbox, grabbing the first wrench he saw. It was the wrong fit, Ben saw almost immediately. He couldn't grip anything inside the control panel, and it wasn't just because of the copious amount of sweat that was suddenly appearing on his hands. Ben wiped his hands on his pants, taking a deep breath to steady himself. It almost never worked, but it was worth a shot. Taking a good look at the conductor's kit and the exposed gears in the control panel, he quickly found the right tool for the job. The cool metal handle of the steel wrench felt especially chilled in his sweaty palms. Wiping a bead of sweat from his brow, Ben ratcheted the wrench around one of the gears, turning it into place. The gear snapped into place with a satisfying clicking sound. He could hear the kerfuffle happening outside, but he did not dare check on it. Every second was precious, and if he didn't get this train moving, it was both of them on the line. Sally had taken out one of the infected with nothing but an old acorn and a stick. If anyone Ben knew could handle this, it was Sally.